It's a brand new day in Kyoto and we've got up at stupid o'clock in the morning again to come out to ARASHIYAMA bamboo grove, which is another one of the really famous photographic sites of Kyoto. It's a bit of a trip to get out here. It's probably taken us the best part of an hour actually. It's currently about 7:30. And this location suffers from pretty much the same issue as the Torii Gate that I visited yesterday, in that it can get very, very crowded. So hopefully by getting here that little bit earlier, we'll just have it a little bit more to ourselves, but I'm still anticipating that there's going to be a fair amount of people there. Surprise, surprise, the bamboo grove was absolutely overrun, completely overrun by people. We didn't get there early enough. Really, you've got to be there 4 or 5 in the morning, really, to get it absolutely all to yourself. I don't really believe I managed to secure any decent images, to be honest. I had a brief moment where there wasn't too many people on the main path, maybe a minute or so. And I shot some landscape and portrait compositions just of the path running through the actual forest, but there was still a lot of people on the path in the distance. The chances of actually getting no one on that path is next to zilch unless you get there early. I mean, you probably could run a real long exposure with an ND filter potentially to get rid of them, but then you might get some blurring in the bamboo because it does tend to kind of move to and fro in the wind, so that I don't know if that's going to work either. All in all, it's probably one of those locations that's probably been ruined a bit by Instagram. You had everyone there taking the same selfies, the same posed shots. There was weddings, there was just such over-the-top photography setups. It was ridiculous. So yeah, all in all, not the best photographic experience, and in hindsight I'd go a lot earlier to get a lot more from it. ARASHIYAMA was a really frustrating place to visit. It kind of sucked away my enthusiasm, so I decided to put my camera down for the rest of the day. Another new day in Kyoto, and if I look like a wreck, it's probably because I'm up at stupid o'clock in the morning again. You notice a bit of a pattern here. After the disappointment of the bamboo grove yesterday, really left a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth. I've decided this morning that I'm going to get up even earlier to try and go to the spot that I've got in mind today, to see if I can get the composition that's stuck in my head without the crowds. And that's been the big challenge of Kyoto so far, that the crowds have just been ridiculous at pretty much every spot that I've gone to. So this morning I'm going to a little pagoda which I encountered when wandering around the city yesterday. I can't remember what the name of the pagoda is, but I'll pop it down at the bottom now. But the view was absolutely stunning, but it was absolutely crawling with other photographers and crowds just admiring the view. So it's currently about 5:20 in the morning. So I'm figuring if I go to this lookout now before the sun has even risen above the horizon, then I'm likely to secure the shot crowd free. That's the theory, at least. Kyoto's kind of surrounded by mountains in all directions, so I don't think I'm actually going to get direct sunlight in the scene, because by the time the actual sun has risen above those mountains, it's likely to be maybe 45 minutes to an hour after actual sunrise, and that's going to be a problem because it's going to mean the crowds are there in full force. So the kind of effect I'm going for this morning is very much a blue light, kind of early, kind of dusk kind of feel to the shot. So fingers crossed I managed to secure that, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure where I'm going at the moment, so I better put this down and go back to navigation. You can see that beautiful pagoda building just behind me now. I've actually finished shooting it now, and in true Kyoto fashion, I certainly didn't have it all to myself. When I arrived, there were one or two other photographers, so I managed to set up my tripod in a prime location and secure a couple of images that pretty much met my specification of what I was going for. I locked down the composition and I'm pretty happy with what I actually managed to capture. But I was kind of hoping to maybe linger around and see if I could get some images with some better lighting, but within minutes more photographers started arriving, and would you believe, a TV commercial crew turned up to film a TV commercial in that exact area, so that pretty much wrote the entire scene off. So I've just left. You can see the sun hasn't actually yet risen. It's gonna rise kind of back there, and I could have actually maybe stood a chance of actually getting an image of that pagoda with some light on it, because other than photographers and film crews, it wasn't actually as busy as I thought it was going to be. But yeah, just a little bit of a nightmare this morning, but you know, I'm coming to expect it now in this place. You can see we're starting to get some light now. Really annoying, that. Really annoying. In terms of settings for the shot that I took this morning, I can't remember the exact settings, but off the top of my head, I think it was taken at about f11, ISO 64, about a quarter of a second, and I think the composition was about 28mm with a circular polariser popped on the front as well. Not there was that much light to play with, but I was just trying to punch out the contrast in the scene just that little bit more. But yeah, all in all, a pretty simple shot really, not much to it. Kind of my thoughts on Kyoto are that it's an absolute stunning city. It's incredible, but it's potentially been ruined by tourism, and you know, I know I'm part of that problem visiting here myself, and I think it's a real shame that the place is just so busy with tourists. I've been all over the world. I've been fortunate enough to visit a lot of countries in my time, and you know, I've seen touristy places. I know what touristy places are like, and this is up there with the worst of them, unfortunately. And yeah, it's a bit disappointing. So yeah, I would say any photographers coming here, be prepared for that. You're going to have to do battle with some serious crowds at pretty much every location you visit. After a bit of breakfast, we headed out to KINKAKU Temple, the world famous Golden Pavilion. Without doubt, one of the most iconic sites in all of Japan. Golden Temple was absolutely stunningly beautiful. It really was exceptional, and we were quite fortunate as well to have nice clear conditions and relatively good light. It was a little bit harsh, but the temple only opens at 9 in the morning, so you're not really going to get that beautiful golden hour light anyways. So I was pretty happy. I managed to lock down 1 or 2 shots that I was really happy with the temple and the surrounding garden trees kind of reflected down in the actual pool in front of it. It was absolutely beautiful, but again it was very busy. It was just ridiculous. We got there maybe about half an hour after it opened, and you wouldn't realise it was so close to opening. There was probably a couple of hundred people there easily, and it just made the experience, I don't know, a little less enjoyable. I think it took a lot from it, I think. Also, tripods were a no-go there. You weren't allowed to use them. I can totally understand why. It would have been a nightmare. So it meant I had to shoot handheld, but the light was sufficiently good that it didn't really matter in the end. All in all, it was a good way to finish Kyoto. It's a stunning city. It's got an awful lot to offer photography-wise, but be warned, it is a massive challenge shooting here. The crowds are ridiculous at pretty much every location, so you're going to have a lot of patience if you come here and you want to get those killer shots, but they certainly are possible. As always, thanks very much for watching. I'll hopefully have some more Japan content coming your way soon. I'm not sure what the topic will be as yet. I'm just making this up as I go. So yeah, I'll see you all soon. Take care.